Hi. It's very... Hi. It's very hot in here. Our air conditioning stopped working and it basically froze over, I guess, so we have to turn it off and let it defrost for 24 hours. So it's a nice toasty 78 in the house, or 76 or something. I don't know. It's very warm. So if I look super sweaty and gross, that's because I am. I got a new camera. I don't know if you can tell if the quality is better. I apologize in advance if the sound is kind of weird or audio isn't as great. I didn't realize that my Yeti mic had to be hooked up to a computer to work, and I don't have a computer in this little like cute filming space that I made, so I have it attached to my phone, so it's like this weird kind of loop thing. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Today, I'm going to show you how I normally conceptualize a character. So I go from an idea to the finished piece. Everyone really likes the little pig girl that I made, whose name is now Penelope. I figured that it would be really cute to make her some farm animal friends, so I think I'm gonna design a cow and, a cow, a donkey. Well, this is what I have saved. Cow, donkey, horse, chicken, goose, goat, sheep. I think that's it. Alpaca. I think that's it. Duck? Did I say duck already? I can't remember. Anyway, I don't think I'll design all of them right now, but at least show you how I design the cowgirl from an idea to a finished piece. And then we'll do a speed draw through some of the other designs. It's just gonna be a bunch of noodling and figuring things out, and I'll give some tips and tricks, and that's about it. Yeah, short little intro because I'm sweaty and gross. And we will jump into what we're doing. Also, some of you might be wondering, because you might have seen on Instagram that Gengar had to be rushed to the ER vet. So I'm just giving a little update that he's okay. He got diagnosed with seizures, which is pretty sad. But he's on seizure meds and is doing fine and hasn't had any seizures since. We're still trying to figure out what is causing it, but you can see his little chicken leg right here. Boop, 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 chicken leg. But he's doing okay, just living his life. He was really bad and tried to eat a chunk of chicken out of a container. So back to his normal mischievous self, huh? Yeah? Back to your normal mischievous self, you little troublemaker. What, you want to come up here too? Your car wants to say hi. Oh, I'm stuck. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, that was basically my plan for today. Hi. Okay, thank you. That's basically my plan for art today, so we're gonna jump right into that. So let's go. Wait, okay. Yep, hi. Oh, okay. You ready to go? You wanna do that? Woohoo! So my first step is I always start on Pinterest. I like to make a board and collect a bunch of images that I feel represent what I am looking for. I add multiple images, and this is so important because every professional uses references. I have color palettes in here, patterns, animals, hairstyles, clothes, anything that I feel like would be useful, I have it in there. Every professional has a reference board or a folder or something for when they're working on a new design because it keeps you inspired and it keeps you motivated. Once I feel like I've kind of got the idea and the vibe of what I'm looking for, I will use Pinterest and have it on the side while I start on my sketches. So here I'm just looking at the cows that I saved, and I'm figuring out what type of patterning and what type of shape I want to use as inspiration for my cow design.
Then I'll jump into sketching, and I usually work in a vibrant color for my sketches. There's a lot of ways to start sketching out a concept for a character. I usually just go right in and I draw my line of action and figure out the pose and block in where I want the body to be or what pose they're doing. You know, anything along the lines of proportion or whatever, I just start sketching that in. You can also go about it by doing silhouettes, which is how I learned in the beginning, and I always recommend that if you're starting out, this is a better option. Working in silhouettes and understanding how silhouettes work is really important because characters are recognizable just by the silhouette alone. You can look at a lot of popular cartoon characters today, and if you make them into a silhouette, you still recognize who they are. It also helps your eye understand proportion and shape dynamics better, and how shape dynamics contribute to the overall design of the character, and what is an interesting design versus what is lacking. My brain works better in just sketching out the body, so I usually just jump right into sketching and noodle around until I get something that I like. So I recommend keeping your initial sketches loose. It's okay for them to be messy. It's okay for them to look like it's just a bunch of scribbles. You are basically just plotting down your foundation, what the body's doing, the pose, the proportions, the silhouette, making a dynamic pose or making an interesting silhouette so it's easier to read. Just keeping all of these things in mind while you're blocking out the figure. That's all that this first pass is blocking out the figure. I will also check and see how many heads tall my character might be, and then also make sure that my proportions are uneven, because you have a more interesting design if your proportions are uneven, meaning that the legs are longer or the head is bigger than the rest of the body or something that makes the design interesting instead of everything just being the same height and width all across. One of the things I knew for certain I wanted my cowgirl to have was really long, luscious eyelashes, because I can't stop looking at all of these cow photos where they have these beautiful eyelashes. So I wanted to make sure that she had very large eyes and very accentuated lashes. I wanted her design to be timid and a little shy, so that's why I posed her in this little tucking her hair behind her ear, little bit of sad eyebrow look, because I wanted her to come off as very, very soft and sweet. I also keep my Pinterest up this whole time because I like to constantly go back and reference all of the images that I have. Sometimes I might add things and forget that I added them, so when I scroll through I go, oh yeah, I forgot that this was here, and I use it as reference. I also like to store hair and clothing references in there as well, and I will constantly check back and forth and scroll through all of my options and see which hairstyle or which clothing style I feel fits the character the best. At this point, I'll usually jump into my second layer. This is my second pass of sketches. This is where I will kind of refine the shape a little more and add clothing and fix or adjust anything I didn't like in the initial sketch, including the hand placement here. I'll also start adding all of the details like sleeves and ruffles and other important lines and shapes that I need for my line art. I did want my character to be very, very round on the bottom, and I was going to make her very busty, but I felt like everyone always makes cows busty, and I thought it was even cuter if she had a really, really small bust and then really large hips or a belly. Also, it's okay, and actually, I think it's good to spend a lot of time on your sketches first before you jump into line art or color, because you want your foundation of your illustration to be very strong. You want your design to be very strong, and all of that usually comes in the initial sketches. There's only so much that color and line art can do. If you don't have a good design, if the core of the design isn't good, line art and color can only do so much. It's okay to have 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, 4 passes, 5 passes of sketches until you get a design that you like. That's totally fine and normal. And in fact, if you're doing character design professionally, you're going to start off with lots of sketches and sending your sketches up to your lead, who is going to look them over and give you critiques and things that they want to see you fix, and a lot of notes, and you'll be working on those sketches for a while before you jump into cleaning it up. So you should probably, if you want to do character design as a profession, get used to really getting comfortable working in sketches and revising your images over and over again. Now, sometimes I'll work off of my initial sketch, but in this case, I had a better understanding of what my character was going to look like, and I kind of wanted to start over, and I wanted to start fresh. With all of the new information and all of the new noodling that I did, I wanted to redo the pose, I wanted to maybe change the clothing and the hair, so I essentially just jump into a new layer and work off of what I had. So after a lot of noodling, I land on a design I end up liking, which is a shorter torso, longer legs, and this cute little baby doll dress. And from here, I just jump into line art. I use the Retro Supply Company Ramen brush pen, which is my favorite. I think it is in a pack of something. I don't know if you can get it by itself. There's not much to say here with line art. I had somebody ask me a question on what my rules for line art were, and to be honest, I don't have really something firm. Line art kind of comes almost naturally, I style as you go, and for me, it's just playing with thick and thin. Usually areas that are softer might have a thicker part, and then areas that connect have a thinner part, but that's not even always 100% my strict rule. I just kind of eyeball what looks good. Unfortunately, I have nothing hard and fast that I can say this is exactly what I do. And line art can really affect how something looks as well. Some people do really, really thin line art. Some people do really thick line art with no tapers. All of these just give a different look, so my advice is just play around with different types of line art styles and see what you feel is natural for you and what is comfortable for you and appealing for you. Another important thing about designing a character is repeating patterns or shapes throughout their whole design. So, for example, she's going to have a lot of frills and ruffles and bows, and I wanted to repeat that everywhere I could. So, the trim on her shirt is also mimicked in her hair, and same with the bow on her tail and the flower petals. Everything kind of has this loopy, bubbly shape is the best way I can say. But then also, I don't want everything to look like that, so I did contrast it with a straighter, sharper line of a dress. Adding another repeating pattern down here, giving her little frilly socks, just so that this pattern repeats all over her design. Now it's time for color. We are going to stick with a palette that's soft and nice and gives kind of a farmy vibe, so I wanted a lot of greens and golds and nice warm browns. So I am going to go off of one of the cows that I saved on Pinterest that is white with little brown spots. So here I am just gonna add all of these little brown details all over her body, trying to keep them simple but distinct. I'm pulling up my reference here just to double check and adjust the colors if necessary, and then also look at where the patterning is on this cow and how I should apply a similar pattern to this cowgirl. I like to work with palettes and work in limited and unified colors, meaning that I don't normally like to go over maybe 6 or 7 colors in an image. I find that when I limit the palette, it makes the whole design a little more cohesive. I did learn in school that usually a good character design sticks with maybe 5 to 7 colors in their design. That means you're going to reuse the same colors around the whole design. You also don't want these same colors overlapping on each other, so you have to figure out where each color will be placed, and it makes it a little more challenging, but I think it looks nicer in the end. This is the point where I start coloring in the interior lines. This just gives the image a little more softness. I leave the exterior lines black or like a really dark color, and then just do the interior detail lines with a darker version of the base color. And now that we are in the final stretch, I add all of my kind of vintage looking touches. So I do all of the steps that I have outlined in my How to Get a Vintage Style on Procreate video. You can check that if you want. That gives all the details on this, but that's basically what I'm doing to finalize this image.
It's wrap up time and I gotta do it quick because my battery is gonna die. Since I was only able to do 2 other characters, I think I'll probably do maybe some more. And then I'm contemplating maybe making them adoptables. If you don't know what adoptables are, it's basically like I create a character and you essentially buy the rights to them. So they, in a way, kind of become your character. You can use them for D&D or cosplay or whatever, and it's your character to do with what you wish. So I'm maybe thinking of just selling the rights off to them if anyone is interested in that. If you are, leave a comment below. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides I hope that this was kind of informative and fun to just watch me go through the process. I also do just a lot of noodling in general, so, you know, some of this process might take longer than normal or shorter than normal, depending on like the vision that I have in my mind. But I hope that this at least shows kind of what I do to design a character, just like a quick character for fun. Obviously, if I'm doing something more professional or working with other clients or something, there's a lot more back and forth, a lot more editing, a lot more structure and adhering to a style and blah 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 blah. But just for fun, figuring out what I want to do, just making up some random characters is kind of my approach. So I hope that's helpful. And yeah, all of my links are below in the little box below, including my shop links and my commissions and enamel pin club, plus a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye. Right? Yeah. Did you think this was a good video? You think it's a good video? No? You didn't like it? You have a lot of feelings on it, huh? Which was your favorite character? Was it the goat? Was it the chicken? Oh, it was the chicken? That one was your favorite? Okay, good to know. Shoo! Oh, look how sweaty I am. It's hot in here. Look at me sweaty. Ah! I'm outie.